I loved Elden Ring. I have just gotten over 100 hours on the game, which for me is a lot because I struggle to play the same game for a long period of time. As such, I love From Software as a company, and the Dark Souls universe is incredible. So imagine my surprise when I heard that they were making a Dark Souls tabletop RPG, and it has officially released in some parts of the world. Oh no. Howdy, my name is Nonat, and the Dark Souls TTRPG has been released to mixed reviews? A few articles have been posted with some images shared by a person who received the physical copy of their Dark Souls TTRPG book, and the book contains numerous typos, grammatical errors, obvious copy-pastes from existing D&D content, and more, like contradictory design. Overall, the common consensus is that what people have received is not a finished product, but rather a published beta test. It seems to be full of problems that should have been caught by proofreaders and beta testers, but instead was just pushed out at a $50 price point. $100 if you got the collector's edition. For an example of what I'm talking about, let's look at the Brute Origin. An origin is kind of like a combination of race and class. Everyone is a human in Dark Souls, so your origin determines a lot. For example, it determines your starting hit points, which of course they get 1d10, and then when they level up, they get 1d10 plus con mod per paladin level. That's right, they just copy-pasted the HP growth from the Paladin section of the D&D 5e core rulebook and didn't change the name. Well, at least Brutes are the perfect origin to take the Knight class, since the Brute has the highest starting strength score of 15, so they can wield the heavy plate Knight armor with a strength requirement of 16? That's right, the starting equipment for the Knight class is too heavy for any level 1 character to wield. The highest possible starting strength is 15, but this starting equipment needs 16 strength to use it. These kinds of things are annoying, but not game-breaking. You can easily just ignore the Paladin typo and just change that 16 on the Knight armor to a 15. End of story, easy fix. What's not so forgivable is directly contradictory design choices. Take a look at this text. When you drop to 0 position, which is your hit points, you are dead. Killed. It is over. You don't get a death save, you can't use Healing Word to bring an ally back. If they drop to 0, they're out of the game until the next bonfire or everyone dies. Or that's how it should be, but later on in a character's starting gear, they talk about a medical kit, which can be used to stabilize a character at 0 position. So which one is it, Dark Souls? Are you dead for good, or can you be stabilized and healed? The book says both. Sometimes spells are so poorly designed that they actually get weaker as you get stronger. Take a look at Fall Control. When you cast this spell to remove fall damage, you make a dexterity saving throw against your own spell DC. You know, that thing that goes up as you level up your spell casting ability? This means that the stronger a spellcaster you become, the harder it is to succeed at casting Fall Control. And like I said earlier, some things are just complete misprints. Take a look at the level 12 spell, Crystal Soul Spear. Then read the description of a Pyromancy spell. This description is not for Crystal Soul Spear. It is completely wrong for a different spell. So there's a lot of controversy going around about this product, and rightfully so. Glaring issues like this that any kind of proofreader would have caught on a first run-through are kind of unforgivable. Remember, people are paying $50 to $100 for this published product. If this is the physical quality they get in return for their money spent, it's going to directly affect their opinion of the game and system mechanics themselves. Quality checks and proofreading are so vitally important to the TTRPG genre, and this is because a single, weirdly worded sentence can open the floodgates for a ton of unintended imbalanced consequences. Games like Pathfinder 1st Edition and D&D 3.5 were riddled with loopholes to get ridiculously powerful characters at low levels. That's why modern games like 5e and Pathfinder 2e are very specific with their word choice and balance decisions. It's to avoid these weird loophole crack builds. And even those games aren't completely immune to it. Honestly, all of this is really sad to see, not just as a fan of the Dark Souls universe and FromSoft, but the book is gorgeous. This artwork, the page design, the layout, everything feels like it was ripped straight from the game and put into a TTRPG book just for your eyes. The weapon and spell pages look so appealing, the art is perfectly in the Dark Souls style, but all of these poor quality errors are just drawing away from that. I honestly want to buy this book, but not until things are fixed. Not until some kind of errata happens to fix all of these obvious glaring mistakes, or maybe just delay the book to fix them before it's published anywhere else in the world. But with the US release date being about a month from now, I'm not holding my breath. The game really does have promise, and there's a lot that needs to be fixed. And unfortunately, I can't touch too much on the mechanics, because I don't own the book, and I don't have 100% context. Some of the monsters seem ridiculously imbalanced, but if the players can become just as imbalanced, it's balanced. However, from what they've released publicly, I'm really hesitant. Let's take a look at Udex Gundyr, the first boss of Dark Souls 3. Ideally, this will be the first boss the players encounter and should reflect an introductory boss experience just like it does in DS3. He's not easy, but he's by far not as hard as the later bosses. So what can he do in the Dark Souls TTRPG? Well, in 2 turns, he can frighten every creature in a 120-foot radius, and then when he hits them with an attack, auto-confirms a critical hit, and he can attack twice per turn. So if he frightens you, then on the following turn, he can crit you twice for 24d8 plus 20. He's a CR5, by the way. Again, if the game gives players ways to work around these horribly powerful bosses, more power to them. That sounds like a really fun experience. But if the game decides players should just ram their heads against an encounter until they roll high enough because Dark Souls hard, that's not good design. From what they've released, the game honestly feels like GM versus player. Not a cooperative storytelling experience, but rather which one can kill the other first. And it's always going to be the GM, because they're the GM. The system has given the GM so many different systems they can use specifically to kill the players as efficiently as possible, most notably the position system. Position, along with being a character's hit point pool, can be used as a resource to cast powerful abilities, or for player characters, they can use it to tweak dice rolls. So if you miss someone by just a couple of points, you can sacrifice some hit points to force a hit. That's super cool. And bosses can do it too. So sure, you can sacrifice a few hit points to auto-confirm a hit on Gundyr with your 1d12 longsword. And he can do the same thing to auto-confirm a hit for you with his 6d8 plus 10 greatsword. Also at auto-crits if you're frightened. Again, I don't have access to the complete mechanics, so I can't make any finalized judgments, but everything they've released so far doesn't feel like a TTRPG. It feels like a board game, and believe it or not, there's a reason for that. The TTRPG system is being developed by Steamforged Games, known for things like the Dark Souls card game, the Dark Souls board game, the Horizon Zero Dawn board game, the Monster Hunter board game, the Resident Evil board game. Are you seeing a pattern here? I've actually personally played their Devil May Cry board game, and it's amazing. It's really complicated and it takes like 3 hours, but it's super fun. Steamforged is not a tabletop RPG company. They develop board games. Board games have strict rules that need to be followed from start to finish to determine a winner. Whereas a TTRPG has a rule set that is designed to be used as written until it doesn't work and then bent. But what they have shown so far from the Dark Souls TTRPG those rules seem very specific. They've designed the game to be like Dark Souls, where the mechanics are so tight and designed to punish the players at every opportunity. And in Dark Souls, that works. But in a tabletop RPG, you can't just get good. You can't time your rolls better. You can't attack at openings when you see them because it's an initiative-based turn system. All you can really do is maybe inflict a condition and then pray you roll high enough to hit them and pray the GM rolls garbage. That's the skill of TTRPG combat. So, will the Dark Souls TTRPG be worth purchasing? Well, in its current condition, I can't say yes. Even if the mechanics are perfect and balanced, I don't want to support a company that puts so little effort into the quality and proofreading of their product. If you release a book full of typos, copy-pasted materials, and incorrect or even worse, contradictory descriptions, you don't deserve my money. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. This is my personal design philosophy. If you want me to care about your product, you need to show that you care about your product. And if you let 1,000 typos through the publishing gate, you clearly don't care. If they errata things, if they fix things, and the full worldwide release has all of these issues cleared, I will buy it in a heartbeat. I will grab it, I will play it with my friends, and maybe even have a great time. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a great RPG and it'll replace Pathfinder for me and I'll never talk about Pathfinder again. Fix the issues, iron out the kinks, release a quality product. Then, you might have a chance. Thank you to all of my patrons for supporting me. If you would like to support the channel as well, there is a link in the description to my Patreon page where you can pledge and help by donating to the channel and keeping my lights on. Shout out to you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to share this around in the algorithm. You're awesome. Thanks for listening to me rant. See you next time.